Exodus chapter 20, Deuteronomy chapter 5, thou shalt not lie. Romans chapter 3 verse 4, let God be true and every man a liar. Titus chapter 1, for there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision. Of course, it was talking at that time of the Pharisees at that time, but it applies to many today as well. Vain talkers and deceivers, liars, snakes. Once someone has lied to me, once a government agency has lied to me, once a president has lied to me, a senator, a congressman, a judge, it's over. I don't trust anything they do or say after that. The medical system lied to us during the scamdemic. They told us to wear, right? They told us this would protect us. Well, my fence back here, I guess, protects my yard from getting mosquitoes or other flying insects, huh? It makes just as much sense as this protects us. They lied. I knew they were lying from the very beginning. Didn't wear them. I won't wear them in the future. They said, right, that would protect us. The pharmaceutical companies lied. You're liars and deceivers and vain talkers. I'll never trust you, ever, 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 the rest of my life. And you wonder why people are turning away from taking your products and your pokey pokes? It's because you lied. And you got caught in your lie. And people are done with it. Our nation is being run by deceivers, vain talkers, liars. Oh yeah, Sodomites and Pediphiles. If you're not talking against Epstein's Island and against what was going on there, then I have to assume you participated in it. If you're a Hollywood star, if you're a politician, if you're a prominent person, if you're not coming out and saying what happened in Epstein Island was wrong, it was evil, and I'm standing against it, then you were a part of it. I don't need a list. You participated. And you're a pedophile until proven otherwise. And you're a human trafficker till proven otherwise. How are those apples? This is the kind of pressure we have to put on them, folks. We have to tell these prominent people, these people, these Hollywood stars and these, whatever fame they have, politicians, you know who I'm talking about. We have to tell them. If you're not standing against pedophilia, you are one. If you're not standing against the sodomite attack on the family, an attack against manhood, then you are one. And you're for what they're doing. You're for their agenda. And if you're not coming out and condemning Epstein and his island, and those who went there, because they abused children, then you're guilty of doing it yourself. We're sick of the lies. We're not going to listen to your lies anymore. You can try 1984 communism in the future. You can take the 2030 agenda and try to push it into 2025. You can try to shut us down, get us to wear whatever, pokey poke. But those of us who figured it out and are sick of your lies, we're not participating, and we're not going to cooperate. Understand? You're going to have a lot of uncooperation, a lot of resistance. I will fight against my church being shut down ever again in the future. I will make a stink. I will become everybody's worst nightmare if that ever is attempted to happen again. I'll fight like a wildcat. And I'll call out the lies. And I know about the censoring and the deplatforming and the, I don't remember what they call it, where they reduce the numbers of people watching the videos. It's not the true numbers. They reduce the number way down, or they hide the videos. There's more than one way to skin a cat, folks. Yeah, and I said that just to upset PETA. Just to make PETA mad. There's more than one way to skin a cat. But there are many of us out here that are not backing down. We're not believing your stupid lies anymore. We're not taking your bioweapons. We're not wearing your cloth over our face. We're not staying in our homes. We're not going to shut down our businesses. We're not going to shut down our churches. We're not going to believe the medical system anymore. They lied to us, and they killed our friends and our relatives. And they called us terrorists because we told the truth. There's alternative solutions. There's alternative things we can do to take care of ourselves medically. There's naturopathic doctors out there that do a better job than MDs, than medical doctors, in preventive medicine. And herbal style curative medicine. They're better than the medical doctors. There's other alternative forms of medical care. But who has the monopoly? Ask yourself, who has the monopoly during a time of great deception and great corruption? You know what medical doctors are good at? They're good at triage. They're good at setting bones, stitching up wounds, taking bullets out of someone who's been shot and stitching them up. That type of stuff. You know what I do not trust them on? Curing cancer, curing heart disease, curing other things of that nature, stroke, diabetes. You know who I'd rather go to, who I do trust? The naturopathic doctor. Sick of the lies. Are you? Fed up with all the deception? When God said, "Thou shalt not lie," it wasn't a Monopoly game, okay? It wasn't some silly game, or, oh, well, you shouldn't lie, but we'll just wink at that. It's okay. It's just a white lie. God doesn't look at things that way. He is holy, righteous, and morally perfect. God takes his commandments very, very, very seriously, because they emanate from the very core of God, the very core of who He is. God never lies. And He will not tolerate liars. And neither will I. So stop lying to the people. Stop with all the deception. Stop with all the manipulation, the fear manipulation. I, for one, will not play your games, do the shutdowns, do the 15-minute cities, all of that kind of idiocy and nonsense off of the fake fear that you oligarchs push. Nope. Oh, there's a new strain. There's a new this. There's a new that. Panic, panic, panic. It's a crisis. It's a national emergency. You know what I'm going to be doing while the lying, deceiving media is doing that? I'm going to be like this. No, I won't be oblivious, that kind of resting. But at night, when I go and lay my head on the pillow, I will sleep like a rock. Because I won't buy into the lies, the deception, and the fear. Will you? There is a judgment against deception and lying. Jesus Christ called the Pharisees out for it. And judgment came down upon their heads in AD 70. The very same Pharisees that were trying to lie and trap Christ and trying to murder Him, judgment fell down on their head. During this, when Rome put Jerusalem under siege and then went in AD 70 and destroyed Jerusalem and the temple, that was the judgment of God against them. They who slew Him would see that, Christ said. Read Revelation chapter 1. These things that soon will take place, it says in verse 1. And then further down it says, they who pierced Him will see His wrath. They would see His coming in wrath. And they did. Because look, that book was written prior to... AD 96 is a bogus date for the book of Revelation. It was written in the late 60s. Late AD 60s. 67, 68 time frame. And just a few years later, I don't know, I think some were saying like 62, maybe early 60s, but it was written before AD 70. And everything that it said would happen, happened. Wait. Oh, no, that's all future, right? I mean, the tribulation period and the Antichrist, isn't that all future to us? Read the book carefully, folks. Read the Olivet Discourse, Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13, carefully. Stop skipping over the timing statements and the audience relevancy. Who was He talking to? Those apostles right there in front of Him. In the Olivet Discourse. What was He talking about? The destruction of the temple. And what was the timing statement of that event? This generation will not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Well, guess what? They were fulfilled during that generation. But isn't there a future consummation? A final consummation of sin and so forth? Yeah. I'm not denying that. What I'm telling you is that most of what you folks are using as signs of the times are not signs of our times. So stop it. Stop deceiving the people. Stop lying to the people and telling them that we are in the end times. We're not. So stop. What we are in is a war against evil. And what we need to do is pick up our weapons of warfare, as outlined in Ephesians: prayer, salvation, the Word of God, right? You know the list. And go to war. And stop being easily manipulated and deceived by the liars and the deceivers. The pharmaceutical companies, liars and deceivers. The medical industrial complex, liars and deceivers. Most agencies in the government, liars and deceivers. President, liar and deceiver. Senators and congressmen, many of them liars and deceivers. FBI, liars and deceivers. I'll never trust them. CDC, FDA. Can we go down the list? The WHO, your local health department, liars and deceivers. And there's a whole bunch more. But I don't have time to go through all of that in this video. Stop believing the deception. Stop believing the lies. We're living in a time of great deception and great lies. Well, not great lies, but many lies. We're living in a time of fear manipulation through the means of deception. We're living during a time of massive gaslighting. And we're living during a time of the reprobate or the depraved mind. Christians, do you understand why the government is coming after you? Because you truly are the enemy to them. You know why you're the enemy to them? Because they're pagan. And pagans don't like Christianity. Because they're pedophiles. And pedophiles don't like Christianity. Because they're sodomites. And sodomites don't like Christianity. That's why. Why are so many kids coming across the southern border? Because the pedophiles want their supply. That's the simple answer. Oh no, the parents and bringing their kids here for a better life. Another lie and deception. Stop lying. This is a pedophile smuggling ring of child sex trafficking. That's all it is. But they're coming across with their parents. They're not their parents. We figured that out in the Trump administration. They're their handlers. Trump was separating kids from their parents. Okay, if you want to be that ignorant and that naive, then you're part of the problem. They were not separating them from their parents. They were separating them from their pedophilic handlers, their sex trafficking handlers. They were protecting those kids from those evil adults who were supplying the pedophilic sodomite oligarchs around the world with those kids. And ones here need those kids to come across the southern border so they could sexually abuse them and get their pleasures. That's just pure wickedness and evil. Now they want us to accept pedophilia as being normal. The Eastern Bloc over in Europe has basically told pedophiles, you're going to get capital punishment. We're going to kill you if we catch you. Putin in Russia said, we'll castrate you if you're a pedophile. And we're not going to accept this wickedness coming out of the West. We are going to have a Christian morality in this nation. That's what he was saying about Russia, folks. If you still think Russia is all about communism, wake up out of your stupor. You've been asleep like Rip Van Winkle for 40 years. Things have changed over there. They've changed here too. And what's happening here? Well, we're swapping places. We're becoming the oligarch communist control. We're becoming 1984, George Orwell's 1984. We're becoming the prison country where they want to imprison our people. Look at what Newsom's doing in California. Oh, and by the way, he's not denouncing Epstein and his island, so therefore he must have participated. This is how we have to do it, folks. We're going to have to proclaim truth far and wide. And we will not back down, and we will not, you know what, you pedophilic human, child sex traffickers, you're not going to be able to go to a restaurant and eat. You're not going to be able to walk down the street. What is it, drag queen show nonsense garbage? You're not going to be able to go to a restaurant and eat, walk down the street without being confronted. If the people rise up, they're going to be in your face the same way that Maxine Waters told you guys to be in our face. You want to be in our face? No problem. We're going to have a few words for you. Here comes the pushback. If we will push back. And if you're not pushing back, if you're not condemning this wickedness, then you're participating in it. There is no fence. There is no middle ground. Either you're participating in it or you are condemning it. Which one is it going to be? Well, I don't want to be seen as being bigoted. I don't want to be seen as being homophobic. I don't want to be seen as blah, blah, blah. Then you're participating in it. And you're part of the wickedness and the evil. You're afraid of words? A little bit of name calling? Well, HR, I'll lose my job. Then become an entrepreneur. Because we're losing our country. We're losing our country. Because we won't speak up and we won't push back. We've seen what happens to corporations when they get pushback. Look at Disney. They're losing billions. Nobody wants to watch their movies anymore. Nobody wants to go to the magic kingdom anymore, the pedophile kingdom of Disney. Nobody's believing this nonsense about Ukraine anymore. Bad Russia, good Ukraine. Here work Ukraine, bad Russia. We all know the Ukrainian government was killing their own people in the Donbass region. We know you were murdering your own people. You wicked, evil oligarchs. We know that there was an entire battalion of fascist Nazis, which, by the way, have been mostly wiped out now by the Russians. You bunch of fascists, you government official fascists in Ukraine. We know you were pushing the bioweapons from out of the Obama administration. We're not stupid. You lied to us, you deceived, and you tried to kill a bunch of us. We don't trust you anymore. That's why the media is going down. Nobody trusts them anymore. That's why any corporation goes woke is going down, because you can't trust them anymore. It's a matter of trust. Trust. That's the key. You know why Mike Lindell is doing really good? He's earned our trust. We trust him. He's never lied to us. He's never tried to deceive us. Yeah, the My Pillow guy. You know what? If you can mock him for being a successful entrepreneur, we can mock you. You bunch of pedophile, sex trafficking, wicked, evil oligarchs. You want to bring it on? Bring it on. We're going to fight you with this. We're going to fight you with prayer. We're going to invoke the strength and the might and the wrath of God Almighty, your Creator. You wonder why America is under judgment right now? And by the way, being given over to a depraved, reprobate mind, as this country has been given over to, is a form of judgment from God. Well, I don't see God judging anybody for doing anything. You're looking for the wrong kind of judgment. You don't understand. You don't understand how God judges a nation. He turns that nation over to its own wickedness. You see what's happening in our cities? What happened in Chicago during June? Was it Juneteenth? They call it the celebration of the emancipation of the slaves. The descendants of the supposed descendants of the slaves were running around the streets killing each other. You don't think that's not the judgment of God on this nation? An entire group of people that kicked Dad out of the house and thought they would be better off with their great golden calf idol, the government. That's judgment. The homelessness in the cities all across the country, that's judgment against our nation. We're being judged. I mean, we can point out all kinds of ways that God is, the judgment of God is being revealed in our nation. Inflation, the inability to make ends meet, that's judgment. That's the judgment of God. Read Deuteronomy and what he said about what would happen if we turn our back on him. That was talking about Israel specifically. Yeah, it was talking about Israel, but the principle still applies to us today. The same government that used to print Bibles and distribute them is now promoting the religion of paganism and Satanism. And the judgment of God is not supposed to fall down upon this nation? Are you kidding me? Churches shut down during COVID, during the scamdemic, because of their golden idol, the government said to shut down. The golden calf said shut down, so we shut down. And God is not going to discipline the church for that? Wake up, folks. It's time to stop talking in cloaked language. It's time to call a spade a spade. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay, Scripture says. I'll see you next time. I'll have more.